Welcome to the Mindset by Design podcast with your host, the expert Andy Murphy, where you will learn the tips, tricks, and strategies he teaches his world-class clients to give you the skills to dominate any business.
What's going on, Mindset by Design crew, and welcome to episode 313. Hope you're amazing as always. I really do. Do you know what? I was sitting here and I've been doing this podcast for so long. One of the key things about everything is just sales, right? And I was going through past episodes and I thought this would be an awesome one, as I teach sales a little bit differently. In fact, I don't teach sales anymore. I really don't. That was back in the day. I trained a lot of salespeople all over the world. But these days, I just expand people, expand CEOs, founders, startups, people who really are ready for that next level, whether you're just bored at what you're doing, you've hit a ceiling, and you just don't know how to expand next, right? You could be in Amazon, you could be in Forex, you could be trading, you could be doing whatever it is. It doesn't really matter what your industry is. What is really important is you feeling on fire. Does that make sense? And if you are feeling on fire, then it's time to hit that next level. If you're not feeling on fire, it's time to hit that next level. And what happens is it's all about frequency, alignment, neurology, chemicals, and how we tune your brain and nervous system up and open up and unlock possibilities. That's what we do. That's what I've done for a long time, 19 years all over the world, and I want to share this with you. What's wild is the podcast has probably been going for 6-7 years now. And there's so many podcasts in the world. And I want to know, where do you listen to this, right? Because right now I don't put it on YouTube. I just put it on audio. And I think it needs to go on a few different more platforms, right? Because everyone watches podcasts these days. They really do. And you know what? I've never built my YouTube channel. Why? I started a YouTube channel like maybe 10 years ago, and I was traveling around the world, and it was Life with Andy, and it was all of these different, going around Bali, everywhere where I was living. And I don't know, I just didn't want to be in the public eye. And as I get older, I want to be in the public eye even less, right? So I'm shifting everything over to LinkedIn rather than just Facebook and all the rest of it. So if you are in business and you resonate with anything I've ever said, then come and find me on LinkedIn. That's my new platform. That's where I'm going to be pushing and driving traffic to. So guess what? I want to hang out with you on there. I'm going to be doing lives on there. I'm going to be doing everything on there. Why? Well, I really only want to be known by who needs to know me, not internet famous, not YouTube famous. I want to be only known by people like you. That's it. That's all I want to be known by. So, come over to LinkedIn. It's going to be in the show notes. Make sure you check those show notes out. But it's Andy Murphy Mindset. You can find me everywhere, but make sure you're heading over to the website, which is andymurphy.online. andymurphy.online. It is officially up. It's officially up. And whether you're building Amazon businesses, whether you're building whatever it is, let's have a chat and let's get you to that next level. Because if you're hitting mid 6 figures, then you want to get to 7 or 7 plus, 8, 9, then I'm your man to do that. It's been a long ride over the past 19 years of learning what I've learned. And one of the key things I started out with was sales. That's where I mastered NLP. That's where I looked at, was top performer in 2 different countries in investment real estate. And I've helped so many departments get set up, CEOs, founders, and fine-tune real estate people and sales people all over the world. And I do sales a little different. And I'm going to show you some cool stuff today. This is a training that I did quite a while ago, but I think you'll really love it. If you are in sales and want to learn something a little bit different, then this is the episode for you. It really is. You're going to absolutely love it. And make sure that you're loving it, and make sure that you're writing me a review. If you've never wrote a review for Mindset by Design, then come on, let's do that. Let's do that. I'm about to do a little campaign and get lots of reviews pumping, and I'd love you to help me get this out into the world. It's, as I say, it's been a long time with lots of world-class guests. I've 313 episodes. That's a lot of talking, a lot of information. And I want you to use this as like a library. Yeah, very different to other podcasts out there. Why? Because it's not just ranting on. Although I do a bit of ranting on, what it's really about is giving you tools, techniques, and strategies to be able to tune your unconscious mind, conscious mind, and be in mastery of your mindset. That's really what it is. Or really mastery of your mental performance, so you can step into any situation, anywhere, and be on fire. Like it? Of course you do. Of course you do. So head over to those show notes and make sure you're clicking on andymurphy.online. Make sure that you're heading into the Facebook group the Facebook group, Andy Murphy Mindset. Make sure you're heading and connected with me on LinkedIn, which is the biggest one I want to push today. And I'm going to shut up and let you listen to this because it's like an hour long, and really write a review for me. Especially after listening to this episode, because I know you're going to love it. You're going to get lots of value, lots of tactics, and be able to double your profits just from this one free episode. Want to take things to the next level? Well, come and have a little chat with me personally. I take on 1-2 clients every month as I'm building a finance business, an investment business, and also building another project called the Expansion Project, and we're also launching a couple of other cool things. So I want to help you any which way I can. So you ready? You ready? Hit those show notes up and enjoy today's episode, and I'll see you at the end of the show. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? So here we are with a new brilliant feature. And whether you come in this and you've been in the academy for a while or you're brand new, it doesn't matter. One of the key things that as an entrepreneur we need is sales, right? And we have to look at it a different way, right? The old school mindset around sales is distrust, cheeseball, second-hand car salesman, sketchy people ripping people off. Well, understand that definition, first of all, is exactly what NLP is built around, neuro-linguistic programming. What does that word represent to yourself and other people, right? So we first of all have to change that definition around sales. What are we doing? Helping. Helping what? Helping the client get what they want. That's it. Helping the client get what they want. So that's all sales is. And when we do that, guess what? That's like being a doctor, right? You doctor with the medicine, the prescription. You can help somebody, right? So we must always come from that perspective. We're here to help. And when you believe in your product so much, then guess what? You can help someone even more. So I want you to flip that in your head. So forget the nerves, forget everything about sales, because it's not sales now. It's helping people get what they want, and you're the doctor with the prescription to be able to do that, right? So let's keep going, because I'm going to go into deep, not just today, but this might be a 10-part topic. It might be, we're just going to see. So today we're going to start off with some of the basics, and some of the basics is we're just going to be dealing with the conscious mind. So I want you to make sure you've got a notepad and pen or something to write notes down, because the first little portion of this for the next 5 or so 10 minutes, I just want to ask you some specific questions, because obviously you don't have to go through this now, but I want you to make these notes because I really want you to become consciously aware of what you are playing in your brain. And it's the first step to everything, right? So as a sales person, right? what we got to identify is you, right? Because often we just get into sales or we enjoy a product, but we haven't built us. And I'm not talking about state building right now. I might actually do that in part 2. We've got to build that world-class sales state, right? But for today, I just want to really look at what you think about yourself, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at the different parts of a sale. So basically, the wheel is, we'll talk about the wheel, but the wheel is all the segments that you must follow right through to be able to make sure that sale's complete. The third part, we're going to look at rapport, reading the client, representational systems, criteria words, meta programs, values, and then your own beliefs and how to communicate. Will we all get that through today? Don't know. Going to find out, aren't we? But that's part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. And I've got so much content just around this. It amazes me how much I know, and then I realize I don't know. And it's like, it just keeps coming out. So pen and paper, let's just me shut up and get going. So what I want you to look at now is identifying you and identifying your service, okay? So in the sales environment, what we've got to look at first of all is what your unique selling point is or your unique selling proposition. Why are you unique as a salesperson, right? Because everybody can learn exactly the same format, but then we put our own flavor onto it. So what I want you to really write down the first question: what am I really good at? What am I really good at in regards to sales? What is it? Maybe you're an incredible closer. Maybe you just read people the right way. Maybe you listen to people the right way, right? Maybe you build instant rapport with anyone on the planet. Because what we must identify is what your strengths are, because that's what we must build on, right? And if you get so good at your strengths, then those little weaknesses don't really even mean anything, and you can fill those in. But we want you to make sure that what you're doing is natural, you're good at it, you're aware of it, and you strengthen it, right? If you're an amazing sprinter, random analogy, but if you're an amazing sprinter, then there's no point in doing powerlifting, right? You might as well go and be an amazing sprinter. So if you're an amazing closer, then guess what? Okay, I can build rapport and close, right? So hone those things in. So what am I really good at? The next thing you need to know is with your product or service or whatever it is, what are your clients really buying? Think about that, right? Is someone who's buying a car really just buying a car? No, of course they're not. Well, they're buying transportation to get from here to there. Yeah, but no, they're not. That might be their need and it might be what they want, right? But if you could sell them a sexy car that did that too in their price range, then they're going to buy the sexy car over the other one. So what are your clients really buying, right? If it's mobile phones, right? Well, why does the iPhone better than the flip phone or whatever phone, right? So it's not that the iPhone does necessarily any better features than these other phones that are out there, these Androids, but it's how it makes them feel. So I want you to get really clear on that, right? And we're going to go in way more detail over these stuff, right? But I've just given you this an outline, because what are your clients really buying, right? So let's look at my brand, right? What are clients really buying? Well, mindset, to control their mind, to do all this, to make more money. Yeah, but what are they really buying? What do you guys want? Freedom, to be rich and happy. That's what you want, right? And at the end of the day, why do people come to be around me? Because I can pick up my laptop and go anywhere in the world. And then, whatever, a couple $100,000, easy. There you go. From a laptop, right? Does that class as rich? Maybe, not to me, right? That's the next stage we're driving towards. So what is it for you, right? So next thing, what are you really selling? What are you really selling? So if you're selling cars, use this as an example. I know Vadim's on here too. What are you really selling? Well, you're selling an experience, right? People come to even this, and we're only just getting going with Mindset by Design. It's only like a tenth of what it's going to be. But what am I selling? I'm selling lifestyle. I'm selling freedom. I'm selling an experience. I'm making it fun, right? I'm selling that. So you've got to really start looking at the world through your client's eyes, not yours. No one cares about what you think about your business. No one cares, right? That's the thing you got to understand. Often as a salesperson, we try to get our own beliefs on all our knowledge out into that client, and because we think that's what's going to make them buy. It's not. We have to start looking at the world through their eyes, and we're going to get more into that in a moment, okay? So here's the fourth one. Why should people buy from you? Why not the guy up the street? Why? Right? Why do people buy from you? Is it the aftercare? Is it the 24-hour support? Why are people wanting to buy from you rather than Dave up the street, right? When you can start to look at that, then it starts to make you value how much time you're building into clients, right? And how much time you're giving them. And I know so many salespeople over the years who just lie to get a sale, right? And then guess what? They make that deal. Would they ever get referrals? No. Would they close that deal but give the client a bad experience? Yes. But they didn't care because they get paid, right? So to me, I've never lied ever in a sale. But back in the day, I say I'm not the best salesman in the world right now. I'm not. But back in the day, I wasn't bad, right? So the thing is, that experience that you're giving people, is that what you're selling, right? Is that what, yeah. So the fifth one, we're just running through these quick, guys. Just running through these quick because I want to get to the meat of this, What is here's an interesting question. What is the single biggest stereotype that your prospects have about your service? Think about that, right? We'll actually slow down on that one. What is the single biggest stereotype my prospects or your prospects have about your service? It's an interesting question, right? Related back to mine, right? They think it's either The Secret, the movie The Secret, or it's bullshit, or it's, they don't trust it because they don't know it. Okay. And that's the same in the UK. That's a big thing in the UK mindset. Well, hey, people are starting to catch on now, right? So when people start to look at things differently, then you start to understand what that biggest stereotype is, then you can identify it. And we can talk about preemption a little bit later. We can talk about third-party stories, how to preempt those things, and we can set up a little bit later. But we need to understand the model of the world through the client's eyes. So for a car salesman, right? Well, or in a shop or anything, what do? You walk into the shop, you look around, you just go, I'm just going to get attacked by salespeople. I don't even want to be here, right? And that's what and then this cheesy salesman's going to come over and he's going to try and use all these slick techniques. And right, if that's the biggest stereotype about what you're doing, then guess what? You address it. You go back to your unique selling point. You go back to what your client is really buying, and you start at the reverse, because sales these days is very different to what it used to be, right? Going back to Zig Ziglar's days, okay? Zig Ziglar was one of the old school classic salespeople. Now, is there a lot of his content that probably still works? Yeah, because it was based off experience and wisdom of human psychology. But the challenge is, these days, because of the internet, people sniff out BS. They do. They smell it, they taste it. Why? Because the human brain has been trained to see authenticism. Because when we go on YouTube and stuff, we're seeing reality, right? We're seeing how people really communicate, really talk, right? So it's like, going back to martial arts, it's like years and years ago, we used to watch Van Damme films and think that was real fighting, right? That's real. Wow. These days we flick on the UFC and go, oh, yeah, that's not real. So everything about that industry has gone because people are way more knowledgeable now. So sales is about being authentically you. And that's all it is, right? And not everyone is in the right place in their life to buy from you, right? So if you want to burn and churn people or you want to build relationships, there's a big difference, because I promise you now, that person who's had that good experience with you will tell someone else. And there's a book I'm reading right now called Contagious. It's a great book of everyone out there. And it's shown a lot of human psychology around the biggest thing. What they're showing, actually, social media, it doesn't convert that well. Interesting, hey? Webinars and all of those things, yes, but general social media doesn't get a click through to buy products. What builds brands is old school telling each other. That's what the biggest thing. How many books have you bought? How many movies have you seen? How many TV programs have you watched? Because you didn't see an advert, but someone else told you about it. Right. So when we start understanding this is an incredible way to start making sure that you're building relationships. Right. And that's how we start to grow our brand. So it doesn't matter if you're meeting someone for 30 seconds or for 3 months. It is about making sure you're maintaining that relationship, because what's the old classic saying? It takes 20 years to build a reputation, 5 minutes to destroy it. And that's why the old school mentality of sales is gone. It's gone. So now we're a new breed. Even like the Wolf of Wall Street stuff, right? That's outdated. But Jordan Belfort and all the rest of it doesn't mean those sales techniques work. Yeah, they work. But maybe not with that flavor, right? So let's keep going. Okay, here's an interesting question. What is the single biggest stereotype, which was the last question? The next question is, what's that say? We need to get Jordan Belfort. I'd love to get Jordan Belfort on the podcast, man. That'd be badass, because what he does is 100% NLP sales. 100%. His straight line is 100% NLP sales, right? I've actually just put a couple of links into the Slack, by the way. Like someone asked me this morning. So anyway, next question. What can I do to put it right? Meaning that biggest stereotype, right? What can you do to put or to cancel out that biggest stereotype that person has or that prospect has about your service? I see this session today is going to be an hour. Yeah. So you already knew, Vadim. I appreciate. So the next thing after that, again, this is, and you can write this down, you can go through this quick, or you could take time and actually integrate this, right? Because even the questions, what am I really good at? Like the USP question 1, you should be asking that yourself 7 times. 7 times is a magic number, and it starts to sink in, right? So let's go to question 7. I want you to spend time, even if it's 5 minutes, not now, because I want to get through to the meat, but a compelling sentence about why people should buy from you and not someone else. Because when you're in front of a client, right, do you think that you're the only person providing that service? No, right? And so when you get through to a certain period of the sale, then you're going to find out a few different things. Like it's a classic thing from Zig Ziglar was, why do people don't buy from you? Because there's no need, right? Which is timing for the client, no money, no urgency, no desire, and no trust. So when we could understand that's basically the 5 things that are holding a client back. And from my experience, that is the same thing. Really, it's no money, no time, no desire, no trust, right? And when you can start to understand that and you can start to build stories around your whole sales approach to make sure that, again, I need to go and think about it. I've looked at this other person. I've seen this deal. Right. But when you know why people should buy from you and not someone else, and you've gone through all of that, what I've just covered, then it gives you a really nice insight to what your unique selling point is. Make sense? Cool. There's section 1. Could we go over slower? Yes. Should we go over slower? Yes. Another time. But today, I just want to jam pack you, and then we can start to break stuff down, right? And then the difference is between what I'm going to be doing for you and every other person is everyone just talks about sales as a conscious thing, just like what I've done. You get sales training, that's what they'll teach you. Like, oh, here's all the basics. But it's not building and layering in the unconscious mind. It's not building anchors, rapport. It's not building belief systems. That's what I'm going to start building in. And that might be what we do for part 2. Right. Let's move to the second section. The moving parts of a sale. Okay. And just like an entrepreneur, right? We have to play so many different roles. You know, we have to play so many different roles inside the business. We're marketing, we're sales, but we have to also be manager, and we have to also, there's so many moving parts. So just like as a sale, right? It's the same thing if we want consistent business from people. So the first thing that you should look at is market awareness. And what do I mean by that? So many people come to me with different ideas, and I was terrible for this, right? You just come up with this amazing idea at 2:00 in the morning, go, yeah, that's it. It's going to change everything. And then you don't even jump onto the internet. You just start building the thing. But really, I don't give a damn what your idea is. It's very, very unlikely that someone isn't already doing it first. And if you have found something that somebody's not doing, it's either an invention or you're trying to build something like Elon Musk, right? Which is superb. Different thing. So I want you to, no matter what your idea, or if you're in sales and doing right now, I want you to go and find the top people or companies out there in the industry who are already smashing it, right? That is, you don't have to reinvent the wheel with things. You don't. Because what we do then is we do something in NLP called modeling, right? Modeling is copying, but copying is surface level stuff. Modeling, we go in way deeper. Now we can go way deeper with unconscious patterns, but for you right now, just go and find someone who's absolutely smashing your industry and start to really learn how they're doing it. What's their lead gen, which is the next step, right? So first one is the market awareness, okay? The second step is lead gen. You could be the best closer, the best salesperson, whatever it is. But if you haven't focused on the first point, which is how those top people create leads, it's so important, right? For me, what was the biggest thing, right? For a start, for doing this for a long time, but it was referral based. Plain referral based. I didn't have to go and look for clients. I just asked and they came, right? But then I made a shift to go and help 100,000 entrepreneurs. Guess what, right? So what did I start? The podcast. That was my lead gen, okay? So that was my lead gen. So that's what you need to sort. Where is the consistent lead generation coming from? Because when you can take care of that, then you can get on with your job, right? Because how can you automate this? Well, there's different old strategies and all the rest of it, right? But that's the next step. So yes, we are flying through these quick today, but again, we can cover these in more details in Slack or the next thing, or we'll do a Q&A around this, whatever, right? So the third point is converting the appointments. right? Again, converting them. Okay. So if you're going down a funnel system, just mute audio. If you're going down a funnel system, then you've got to understand the psychology, right? You've got to build that initial trust. If people don't know you from an internet marketing perspective, guess what? It's a free gift. That's the opt-in, right? It activates the law of reciprocity. It's a deep, deep psychological bias, right? The law of reciprocity. Well, everyone does this, right? You get magazines with like kids magazines with the stickers and pens on the front, right? Why do you think people stand outside cookie shops with trays of cookies, right? To give you. It's the law of reciprocity. So that's the first step with any lead gen, is give them something so they feel obligated psychologically to then buy from you or come further into the journey. Okay. So always give that first thing as huge, huge value, right? Huge value. And then often what they say now is give away some of your best work, because often the old school mindset was to hold that and keep that close. But the challenge with that is then people are never going to see what you can do, right? That's the point. So why do I do all these things and Facebook Lives and all the other stuff? That reason, right, is to show people, hey, I'm badass at what I do. So come and find out come out some more stuff. So understand that second step. And then there's different ways, but just understand that first step. That's converting the appointments over. Okay. Then the fourth point for the moving parts, if you look at a scale, so we've got market awareness, then we've got lead gen. The third one is converting appointments, right? The fourth one is your state control, okay? That's before you getting even to speak to anybody. You're about to speak to them, right? That's where we make sure that we step into that state. That may be what we do for next session, is design and develop and build that state. But there's enough content in the academy for that. But it's state control becomes so important, because if you're in the wrong state, right, and you guys are experts at this now, your belief's going to be different. Your physiology is going to be different. Your breathing rate's going to be different. You're going to be associated into things, the client's perspective, which means you're going to react instead of being disassociated and being able to observe where they are on the buying line, which we'll talk about more next time, where they are in the deal, and how they're reacting to what you're saying, right? So if you're not in the right state, you're not going to be able to do these points. And that's a key thing, okay? So let's keep moving. I know these are fast and furious because I want to get to the NLP bits. So the other thing is your sales skills. Might sound silly, but it's like learning anything. It takes practice, right? It takes practice. And so sales skills, well, the best way to do that is go and find someone who's a rock star at what you're trying to sell and be around them. Go and interview them, ask the question, see if you can go on tour with them or be whatever it is. But when you start to observe how somebody already does what you want to do, you have just folded time. Absolutely folded time. This will help your state. It will help build confidence. It will help build beliefs. But what are you really looking for? You're looking for moments where they say a word in a certain tonality, pace, pitch, and timbre of their voice, and then maybe they pause for 2 or 3 seconds. And then they keep going to build momentum, right? Exactly. So things like this, and that comes from wisdom. The way I always did it, now sales has evolved a lot, but the way I've always done it, and I still believe in it. And some people say scripts are BS. Well, yes and no, right? Yes and no. To me, you should have your format, your skeleton, your foundation. You should know what you're going to say, right? Then you free flow around that specific structure. But otherwise, what are you doing? What are you talking about, right? You're just in there talking. No, there's sequences to a sale. Now, with neuroscience and the psychology around sales, it's advanced to very specific flow formats. But again, what we're telling you is these basics that you have to understand, because you can go to all the fancy stuff, but at the end of the day, if you're not doing these key elements, then who cares about the second part, right? So developing those sales skills, activate those mirror neurons by being around the people that you want to perform like, okay? We can talk about the law of 33% there, right? But let's talk about the law of 33% of people above you. 10 to 15 years ahead of you in the game. You put yourself around that, I promise you, you will just accelerate your whole career so fast, right? Because their conversations are different. Their belief systems are different about clients themselves, the deals, everything's different, okay? Why? Because they're winning already. Fast and furious. I get it today. But again, let's see how long I've been talking, and we've not even scratched the surface. Then, beautiful. I love it, Maximilian. Thank you. So the next thing is, after your sales skills, is then getting good at closing the deal. Okay? Now, a lot of people shut down at this bit, right? I like this bit because this becomes a game. This becomes a game because you know your product's awesome, right? You know it's right for them. You're being honest. Everything's right, right? So you want them, you know it can help them. You know you want them to buy because of the impact it can have on their life. And when someone doesn't do that, it annoys me. Not because I didn't get a sale. No, because I know it could help them. And it drives me crazy, right? And then you just try and get everything out your head to make the client buy, but it's too late by then, right? Something we call in sales is progressive commitment closing. If you are trying to close at the end, it's going to be a battle, right? The close starts at the start. It does. It starts with rapport, but it starts with some of the things I'm going to cover very quickly in the next. Well, I'm not going to cover them very quickly. I'm going to slow them down in the next section. But it starts from there. So closing the deal, we used to do there's four sections to actually in a sale. And the last portion before you actually will go and close the deal will be something we used to, physical sales, we'll call the bump. And this is crazy. We used to actually be showing the presentation, the clients would be behind us. And then what we would actually do is stop dead in our tracks so the clients would bounce into you. It's a massive pass and interrupt. And at that place right there, you turn and ask them, and that's where you'd handle objections. Before you sat down at the close, that's where you'd handle objections. You go, okay, so where are we up to, guys? It's called trial closing, right? And this is the final trial close. So where are you up to, guys? What's going on? How are you thinking so far? How's that sound, right? How's it feel to you, right? We'll talk about those predicates in a moment. But at that point, you want to get everything out. Okay, so, and I can talk about isolating objections, and this will come further on in the course. But right there, what's going on? Where are you at? You need to dip test. Because once you've got them to that final place, and we used to like take them round and then sit them down and actually close the deals. And then you used to actually put the hand up, the clients, and they'd bring in the manager, the closer, the TO. And then I was the closer, right? So I'd come in and close people. And so I know it from both sides. So that bump, that pass and interrupt, understanding that the sales goes in sections, so powerful. Things we're going to cover, right? So what's the next little section of this wheel? Ding, ding, ding. Is aftercare. And this where is in the past, years ago, I sucked bad, right? Because I didn't think that was my job, right? That was what the company was supposed to do for me, because I was busy making the company millions of dollars, closing deals, right? But when you're an entrepreneur on your own, you got to. Do you know how much it means to someone to get a text from you or a message just to check in that they're okay? Do you know how much that means? Because do you understand that you've built so much rapport with these people that they love you? That's why they've bought from you. They think you're awesome. They're going to go home and tell people how cool you are. But if you don't follow up, their taste in their mouth from that experience will become your nightmare, because they will always have a bad taste in the mouth, and people only remember the last thing that you tell them, right? So cats, dogs, animals, people, places, things, Australia, New Zealand, life's good, right? Did you remember anything really else? But no, life's good, right? So people only remember. That's why, go back to MMA again, right? The last 30 seconds of a fight. Why do you think people go crazy? Well, it's because it's to leave an impression in the judge's mind. It's the same thing with a client. You want to make sure that they're happy, consistent, because what's the cheapest way ever for a sale? Well, for lead gen, referrals, right? If someone's giving you a referral, they're already built rapport with you. They already know you, like you, trust you, right? Because you've had an endorsement by someone they already like and trust and believe. So it's so simple, right? Thank you, Vadim. You have a good day, my friend. So what's the next one after that? Follow up, right? So once you've kept this rapport with people by checking in, then it is regular follow-up, right? You should be creating a little database, a little list of people that are on fire, and you hit them up every month, every quarter. Old school techniques too, like sending them Christmas cards and birthday stuff. And sounds cheesy these days. You can do it through email very, very fast. But I'm telling you something, what's happening with internet marketing and all the rest of it is going back to the foundation. Everyone started doing live webinars and summits and all of this stuff. Now people are actually moving back to live events. It's like they thought how many years ago that books would completely disappear. But no, they just transition into digital books and now physical books. What about records? Records are coming back, right? It's the same thing. People are very tribal. And this is a brand new digital world. So just remember that the things that work still work. Now we just have extra features on top of things, okay? So good so far, everyone? We haven't even begun. And this is why I say we're going to do another like 20 minutes, and then we'll maybe we do this for the next 4 or 5 weeks, man. We'll just keep these parts going, you know? So I think that's probably what we'll do, right? I think that's a good idea. So, and then in Slack and everything, you can communicate. We can ask questions, and hey, we'll see where it goes. So, right, turn your page over because this is a whole new section now, whole new section. As I take some little caffeine, and you can relax. Okay. So the first step of a sale. Now you've got all those. Cool, Jules. I'm glad you got loads of notes, buddy. I start talking about this stuff and I realize how much my brain knows about this stuff. And it amazes me because I don't even think about sales anymore. I just think about helping people. So it's very interesting. So why did I become the top in New Zealand and Australia for what I was selling in investment real estate? A couple of different reasons. I really wanted to help. And it sounds stupid, but that's all I wanted to do. And I just wanted to get people out of debt, set up a retirement fund for them. And that was it. And it meant so much to me that, God, it meant so much. That means I could help so many people. And because of that belief, that energy, people trusted you. Because I believed it and wanted it. So what did people have? Rapport. Sales is rapport. That's all it is. You can put the fancy techniques and everything else on top, but sales is rapport. What's rapport? When someone likes and trusts you so much that they'll follow you. In NLP, we call this pacing and leading, okay? Now, pacing and leading can be done. I'll talk about that in a second. This is matching and mirroring and all of this stuff. But just in generic terms, pacing where someone is and leading them to where you want them to go. Okay? So pacing and leading. So rapport is everything, everything. And you've got to understand about rapport is that everything starts with, what's the default setting of the unconscious mind? Should know by now, to keep us safe. Okay? So when you meet anybody that you don't know, what is instantly, let's flip into their model of the world and look through their eyes. What's the first thing that they're trying to do for themselves? Make sure they're safe, right? They get blasted with how many adverts a day? I don't even know the stats off the top of my head, but it's something like 30,000 adverts a day, right? And so what's their instinct that trained their brain to do these days? No, right? That's their instinct. And why are they doing that? It's not that they don't want to do it. It's not that they don't like you. It's nothing to do with it. They have an instinct to say no, to keep them safe so you can't take their money, right? So it's like the hands up, the ready. So when you understand this, then you just go straight through it. You just go straight through it. It's the same with working with athletes or high-end entrepreneurs who've got big egos, right? They'll come and blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, I don't even see it. Don't even see it. You know why I don't see it? Because they're human. That's it. They're human. So I don't see it. So you just go straight through and communicate them with a different way. If you start clashing like that, because it's like you know, it's ego against the ego, you forget it, right? You're in the wrong job, and it shouldn't happen because you're helping people, right? So if you're going in there to help someone, then why would there be any resistance? There isn't, right? So let's go through the little bits about rapport. And what is rapport? Rapport simply is being able to get someone to like and trust you like they're your best friend, right? Like they've known you for years. Now we have conscious and unconscious rapport, okay? What we're trying to build in Mindset by Design is unconscious rapport, okay? Plain and simple. And we're going to talk about those things, matching and mirroring and all of that stuff in a few minutes. And that might be where we finish it today. But let's talk about rapport. So what do we got to do to even find rapport with someone? Well, first of all, guess what? Rewind what my big thing is. Peak states, right? Yeah, but we're not just doing peak states. We're doing something called alter egos. A peak state is what you step into. That's what the morning routine is about. And these systems are around. It's about just being in a generic big ball of badass you, right? That's a peak state. But then people think, because they just don't understand, that that's how you do everything. No. We have alter egos, which are very specific neural nets with filters and beliefs. That's what we must build. So we're building your sales state where the rest of the world doesn't exist. It's irrelevant. The wars, someone injured, none of that exists in your reality when you're in a sales state. You are present, focused, and on like lightning quick, lightning intelligent, right? So that's where you first must start. And that's maybe what we build into next week, right? So that's where we're going to start building your sales state. The next step you got to understand is with every sale or anything, the unconscious mind only wants to know one thing. What is the outcome? That's it. The outcome could be what you're going to do 10 years in the future, or the outcome could be what's going to happen at the end of that phone call, or what, how I learned this, right? No one really taught me this. And maybe actually Peter Sivright, who was my first NLP and sales mentor. I'm trying to get on the podcast, God, for a long time. Great guy, American guy. And he was the best in the world for what we were selling, right? And I got taught by these guys. So I was very, very lucky. And he said, just focus on them signing, Andy. So what changed him for me was that I went, right, I'm going to commit to this. And it was about 4 months into my sales career in Sydney in Australia. And I was doing okay. I was average. I was playing and partying and jumping up and down and running around, and then went, okay, let's do this. Felt right. The intuition pulled me. And that was where I used to sit for 10 minutes on my own before going out, before the day started. And I'd sit on a room on my own, and all I would visualize, and I mean this, all I would visualize 100 times is them signing that paper, 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 until that was so burnt into my head. I'd go out and I was just searching for them until they signed that paper. And what do you think that did to my belief system? Yeah, I believed they were going to sign. That was it, because I knew it was good for them. I wanted to help them, and I knew that they were going to sign. So it wasn't about going, oh, will they sign? No, I was just kept on driving the sale forward until they signed. Now, I'll say this because I'm honest about everything. Now, back in the day, I've had my karma for all of this stuff, right? But when I didn't know anymore, I thought it was okay to do 3-hour closes. Yeah. I've done 3-4 hour closes on people. The amount of people that cried not because you were being mean to them. No, because you'd boxed them into a corner that they knew they wanted it so much. And they couldn't financially do it, whatever, right? And they were boxed into a corner so much, and they knew there was no other thing, and they wanted it so much that they'd cry, right? That's not good ethics. You might be funny, Jules, but it's not good ethics. And I've been smashed by karma for those things, right? But it was because I knew I wanted to help them so much. That was it. So get clear on the outcome was my point, right? And then the third thing is for this building rapport, or to set rapport up, is be excited to help them. Just be so pumped up, excited to help them, right? We're not coming from a metaphysical way, or maybe we should, metaphysical sales, right? But we can start talking about quantum physics and whatever, right? But the point is that energy comes across. It does. It really comes over. And people, because they come from an NLP perspective, your energy isn't energy. Your energy is unconscious physical patterns, right? It's unconscious rapport, which we'll talk about in just a second. So be excited to help them, right? That's why you don't care about doing 3-hour closes till someone cries, because you're just trying to help them, right? But you learn that, guess what? You probably weren't helping them in the long run, but that was hindsight's a beautiful thing, right? So fourth thing, problem solve. Problem solve. Because you already know the outcome. You know it's good for them. You know you're trying to help them, right? You're in state. Problem solving. Oh, Andy, I can't do this because. Oh, okay. I'll teach you about isolating objections another time, and it's called stair stepping. But it's just solving problems. I haven't got money right now. Oh, I appreciate. So what if you did have money? How can we make this for you? How can we make this work for you? Because this is so damn good. It's going to change your life. So how can we fit this together and make it work for you? So always be problem solving. People get scared when people have objections or ask questions. No, that's when you get excited. Why? Because it means they're interested. If they're not interested, they're just going to nod their head and go, oh, yeah. When can I go? So when someone's giving you feedback and asking questions and all the rest of it, it's beautiful. Right? Build that energy more and more and more, and get them excited, because we'll talk about the buying line next time, but then they're going to be way over it. Okay. So get them excited, always be solving problems to get them to a certain point so they can buy, right? That's it. So what's the next thing to rapport building? Be honest. If it's not right for them, stop. Stop. If it's not right for them, it's not right for them. When people come to see me, guess what? Like, to work with me privately, am I going to change their life? Yes. Absolutely, 100% fact. Will they get ridiculous value? Yes, absolutely. Does it cost a few grand? Yes. But guess what? Is it worth it? Because I know it can help them. Yes. But maybe it's the wrong time for them, right? If they're trying to put food on the table right now and everything else, and spending like $3,000 is going to hurt them that much, it's not the right time. You know, I'm not pushing people into things. So be honest. And what's the next thing about setting up rapport? The power of your own belief. If you don't believe it, neither will they. Plain and simple, the power of your belief is so infectious. It's so infectious because you've got to understand people just want to be led. Remember pacing and leading? People just want to be led once you've built rapport with them. And if you believe that it's the right thing for them, they will buy. They will buy. They really will. I'm just looking at the time. I'm actually going to end it now because what I'm going to cover in the next part is something brilliant, right? And I've got pages of notes I was going to try and do today, but piece by piece. Next time, what we're going to look at is the intricate parts of building rapport. Okay, so we're going to start to look at how to build unconscious rapport through matching and mirroring and tonality and posture and body language and all of that stuff, right? So you can do this on the phone even, right? So we'll teach you all about that next time, okay? And then what we're going to look at is your representational system, because everybody has a dominant predicate, meaning that they could be visual, audio, or kinesthetic learners, okay? Or the way they respond or see the world. So we'll talk more about that. And then we'll talk about something called criteria words, which is something that I was a master at when going into someone's house, because you start to look at all the things around their house and them, and you start to pick up certain words and you start to use those words back. And I'll explain that next time. And then we start to look at how to actually find out someone's buying strategy and then using their buying strategy back on them. Okay. So, and then we can keep going. Look, then we've got like values and outcomes and how to link that back to the product or service. And then we can start talking about communication. And then we can start to go into the salesy stuff. So, wow, that was an hour, right? I guess I can talk about this for a while. So, but that's good for today, guys. That's part one. Happy?
Hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully you learned some stuff, some tidbits. You see where we're going, answered those questions. You probably want to go and listen to it again. Now, there's a lot of basics in there for sure if you've heard those before, but just because things are common knowledge doesn't mean the common practice. This was only part one. So if you are one of those 3 salespeople that you want your profits doubled in 90 days, then, and you're playing at a good high level, then come and have a chat. You know where to go. Hit those show notes up and make sure if you're any other person to grab your strategy session with me or one of the team as soon as you can. Coaching is the thing that is going to take your game to the next level because you've got the system. You have. So it's having the mindset by design in the middle that's going to be the missing cog to any entrepreneur's business. If we dial the neural nets in, we dial the beliefs in, we understand how to control our mind, then we also are going to perform at our very, very best. Straight NLP, straight neuroscience, and straight gamification. So hit those show notes up and much, much love. I will see you on the next episode. Oh yeah. One more thing. Why don't you smile for me.
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode of the Mindset by Design podcast with your host and NLP expert, Andy Murphy. We'll catch you next time.